Good afternoon, Recon here with Techout. This is going to be an in-depth feature review of iOS 12. This is beta 1, so just keep in mind things could change between the public release or future betas of this. Some features are not fully functional yet, some of them are not even in here yet, and like I said, some things could be added or removed. So first things first, one of the biggest features of iOS 12 is the grouped notifications. Let me see, I don't have any right now that are grouped, but the recent ones will group so you don't have a bunch of different notifications stacked up. You also now have a clear all notifications button. I do have do not disturb on just so we don't get interrupted a bunch of times with the notifications popping up while I'm making the video. So that is one of the main new features, is notifications. They will stack and group the notifications per app so you don't have a ton of notifications on your lock screen when you come back from your device. Another new thing is if we pop into settings here and we go to do not disturb, you can now schedule different things from, if you schedule like a bedtime like 10 p.m. to 4:45 a.m., which is usually when I go to bed and get up for work if I am working that day. So you can turn on this feature called bedtime mode if you use the scheduled time for bedtime, and then once that is enabled, when you wake up your device, when that feature turns off, you'll get a little like nice message saying, you know, good morning, and it'll give you like the weather and then your notifications that came in overnight that were basically like snoozed. When you have do not disturb on, you also now have this permanent thing on the lock screen that just shows do not disturb is on and calls and notifications will be silenced, and it's a nice dark theme right there. So that is pretty cool. Another thing is if Face ID fails, you can now swipe up again and it will retry Face ID, so you don't have to enter your passcode, which is pretty nice, because before, if it failed, you were basically stuck on the passcode screen, or you'd have to put your device to sleep and wake it back up to retry Face ID. Another thing with Face ID is you can now add not really multiple faces, but you can add another like look. So if you have like a look with like sunglasses on or a hat or something like that, and Face ID is having trouble recognizing you, you can go down here. I already did it, but it would be right here where Reset Face ID is. You can add an alternate appearance. Some people say you can use this to add a totally different face, but I don't think that's the intended use of the feature. Another thing is if we go into battery here, we now get a graph. So for the last 24 hours, the last 3 days, that goes up I think to 7 days, but I've only had the beta on here for 3 days, so that's what it says right now. So we can see our screen on usage, our screen off usage, and then all the apps like we could before, but this graph right here is new. And then you get insights and suggestions right now, right here, like it's suggesting that I turn on auto brightness to help save battery life. Everything else in battery health is still in beta, and there are no changes to that in iOS 12 beta 1. Next thing added that is completely new to iOS 12 is screen time, which is also another main feature. So right here you can see your usage. There, it popped up right there. I've been using my OnePlus 6 for the past about day, so I only used this for a day after the beta came out, so there's not too much right here for my usage. But you can set up, this is kind of where they move like restrictions and parental controls to here as well. So if you set up a screen time passcode or set up a family time for the screen time for family, you can block certain apps in here, and you can choose what apps are always allowed, and then downtime, which will block notifications and stuff like that for certain apps during your downtime and after you've reached the limit for that app that you set. So if you find yourself using like Twitter too much or Instagram too much, or you're on Facebook too much, you can set a screen time limit for that, and it will kind of remind you once that time is up that hey, you need to put down your phone, or put down the app. You can override that, but it's just kind of one of those helpful things to help yourself be more mindful of the apps you're using and how much you're using them. Control Center, we do have a few new controls such as hearing and scan QR code. The hearing one, you can actually use power beats kind of like as like a hearing amplifier. I hear that feature's coming to the EarPods or the AirPods as well, but it's not been implemented yet. So the hearing section and the scan QR code is new. So if we add scan QR code, we can pull that up right here, and it basically just takes us to the camera with the scan QR code thing. So it goes to the regular camera. Like I could take a picture right now if I wanted to. I don't have any QR codes to scan, but we can do that if you wanted to. And that does work inside the camera app as well. If you just open the regular camera app, you could scan a QR code right now and it would pop up and take you to whatever that QR code was linked to. So that is pretty cool. I don't really use that because I don't have much use for scanning QR codes. This is not something I use. So do not disturb, screen time, like I said, notifications is new. We have the stack notifications. I'm going to pull up one here. You can also choose how you receive the notifications now. So if you want them on the lock screen, you can choose that notification center or banner. If you don't want them to show notification center, you can turn that off. If you don't want them to show on the lock screen, you can turn that off. If you don't want banners to pop up, you can turn that off. And you can choose whether your banners are temporary or persistent, just like you could before. Another thing here in software update is we do have automatic updates for iOS now that can be toggled on and off. So not only will iOS download new software updates automatically, it will also install them automatically, which is pretty cool. Everything is the same in display and brightness here. We have our true tone, our brightness, night shift, all that kind of stuff. We do have one new wallpaper, which is the one I have applied right here. So that is the new wallpaper. That's what it looks like. Pretty nice. It's a really nice wallpaper, especially on the iPad. It looks pretty cool. So nothing else is new really. That's basically it. iOS has been running very, very well on my iPhone X, my iPhone 10. The battery life, I would say, has been average. I'm not going to say it's good or bad. We're only on beta 1. So that's definitely going to change between now and the final public release. So if you're looking for this, for public release, I definitely can't tell you how battery life is yet because we're on such an early beta. But speed overall has been great. The performance has been, I would say, a lot better than any iOS 11 beta I've used. And people who have done tests, it's actually a lot faster and snappier. And Geekbench-wise is more powerful than the public release of iOS 11.3.4. So that's pretty nice. It looks like Apple has made a lot of refinements in iOS 12 that will hopefully carry on to the public release version as well. And we won't see too many issues or slowdowns as the beta program progresses. If I've left anything out, feel free to drop it down in the comments below and I will do a video on it. I know there are some new little things that I have left out, such as like voice memos, the new app for that. We have the new measure app right here, which uses AR so you can measure things. I don't have anything right here to measure, but that's kind of how it works. You can drag that along the edge of something and measure stuff. I know I left that out in my first impressions video, but that is new. There's a couple things that I'm going to do a dedicated video on, such as the newer features and stuff like that, but this is just an in-depth review of what's been added to iOS 12 and what you guys can expect once the public beta comes out, hopefully around the third developer beta preview, and what you can expect for the final public release. So if there's any new features I see or anything else is added, I will definitely be making a beta 2 and a beta 3 video because a lot of changes and stuff will be implemented there. There is a Siri thing that has not been fully implemented yet, which is why I didn't mention it, which is the Siri, if I hit the right one, which is the Siri shortcuts. That app is not in yet. You can add Siri shortcuts right now from the settings, but the app that was shown in WWDC on the keynote has not been implemented into iOS 12 yet, so I'm not going to go over that until that is in there, and I can show you guys how that works to its full potential. This has been Colin with Techout. If you guys have any questions, leave them down in the comments section below, and as always, don't forget to comment, rate, and subscribe, and have a great day.